This is the Daily Brief for Thursday, 20 August. 12 stories in 8 minutes: money, politics, jobs, and the machines. Let's go. Hundreds of thousands of UK diabetes patients could slash their yearly injections by 86%. A new weekly insulin jab for type 2 diabetes is being fast-tracked for NHS approval. It works as well as daily injections, but cuts the number you need from 365 a year to just 52. Around 4.7 million people in the UK have diabetes. About 90% have type 2, 1 in 4 of those take insulin. The biggest winners, people who need help injecting. That includes elderly patients, those with sight loss, limited hand movement, and learning disabilities. The National Institute for Health and Care Excellence has already backed it, but it still needs a medicines regulator to sign off before the NHS can hand it out. Diabetes UK says this could transform lives for people with extra care needs. The treatment is expected to improve quality of life and cut inequalities in diabetes care.
British paediatricians say vaping is harming children and should be made less attractive to them. The Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health reviewed 81 studies and found clear links between vaping and breathing problems, nicotine dependence, and subsequent cigarette smoking. Vaping is linked to wheezing, coughing, poor dental health, poor sleep, mental health problems, and eye symptoms in young people. Babies whose mothers vaped during pregnancy show evidence of harm. Experts say vaping is not a harmless part of growing up. The government launched a consultation in July on plain packaging and limited flavors. The college wants ministers to go even further. Proposals include moving vapes out of sight in shops, like cigarettes and tobacco. Flavor descriptions would be stripped to basics like apple or cola.
America's national debt has doubled in a decade to reach $40 trillion. The debt was just under $20 trillion in 2016. It's now hit $40.05 trillion. Heavy spending under Trump and Biden administrations drove the spike. Higher interest payments have steadily added to the total. The Congressional Budget Office thought debt would only hit $39.6 trillion by the end of fiscal 2026. It got there faster. The 30-year bond yield hit 5.34% on Tuesday. That's the highest level in almost 20 years. Those rates affect mortgages, car loans, and credit cards. The surge is driven by rising oil prices linked to the US-Iran war and investor worries about inflation and government debt. The Treasury announced it will double its buyback operations from $2 billion to $4 billion. That could ease borrowing costs for longer-term bonds.
Trump and Canadian PM Carney say they're hammering out a trade deal before a Friday deadline. Trade negotiators met for the third time in as many days after Trump paused threatened tariffs on Canadian goods. Details haven't been announced, but the deal likely covers steel, aluminum, cars, and alcohol. Trump said Canada has agreed to eliminate tariffs on U.S. farmers. When asked if the U.S. would also cut tariffs on Canada, he said by a little bit. Reports suggest U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum could be cut to 25% from 50%. Canadian vehicle tariffs may drop from 25% to 15%. Canada has pushed hard for the U.S. to drop or reduce tariffs on steel, aluminum, automobiles, and lumber. U.S. Trade Representative Jamison Greer said the Americans are very happy and the deal eliminates some irritants. He said it will strengthen the North American economy.
Target has pocketed nearly $1 billion in tariff refunds that doubled its operating income. The U.S. retailer received a $994 million pre-tax reimbursement. Its second quarter operating income doubled to $2.6 billion from $1.3 billion last year. Target is one of many businesses getting tax rebates on imported goods following a Supreme Court ruling that declared Trump's tariffs unlawful. But Trump has continued imposing duties through different legal means. Many companies still face extra taxes on goods coming into the U.S. A court filing revealed the Trump administration paid back $100 billion in tariff refunds to businesses. That's 60% of all tariff revenue collected. Target sources 30% of store-label goods from China, down from 60% in 2017. The company is working to reduce China reliance.
Energy prices are climbing again, but inflation won't spiral like it did after the Ukraine war. The war in Iran cranked up heat on households as energy bills rose. But economists say the fallout has been more muted than feared. Food inflation is at just 1.3%. That's the lowest in close to 5 years. Higher energy costs haven't materialized in food prices. Wages and benefits have typically outpaced inflation this year, easing the squeeze on many. That's the good news. Economists expect inflation to hit around 3.5% later in the year. That will add pressure on PM Andy Burnham and Chancellor John Healey. Energy bills are likely up in October, but forecasts suggest they'll be around £1,000 less than the peak after the Ukraine war. The Bank of England believes inflation will come down to its 2% target in the medium term.
Quick break. Every call your business misses is a customer calling someone else. Asm.ai answers your phone, your website, and your messages day and night. It takes the details, books the job, and sends it straight to you. See it working at asmi.tech.
Every rough sleeper in England will be offered accommodation this winter under new £442 million package. PM Andy Burnham says he wants to get everyone in for Christmas. Emergency accommodation will be provided to end rough sleeping alongside support for health needs. This builds on the success of Everyone In, a COVID-era scheme that housed around 37,000 rough sleepers starting in March 2020. About a quarter found settled accommodation lasting 6 months or longer. The announcement comes with £102 million in new funding. Over the next 3 years, the money will deliver more than 1,000 homes for rough sleepers. Funding includes intensive wraparound support like psychiatric and drug and alcohol services to help people rebuild their lives. Burnham says rough sleeping can cost the state more because people cycle in and out of A&E, hospitals, and sometimes police contact. He's appealing to charities and faith organisations to help ensure an offer is made to everybody who needs it.
Sir Ed Davey says the UK should join the EU's migration and asylum pact to crush channel crossing gangs. The EU pact came into force in June. It aims to speed up asylum processing, increase returns of irregular migrants, and spread responsibility for asylum seekers across Europe. Davey argues signing up would let the UK return asylum seekers to the first EU country they entered. That would destroy the business model of smuggling gangs. Joining requires the UK to accept some asylum seekers from the EU, but Lib Dems say numbers would be lower than those currently arriving by small boat. Everyone would be screened first. More than 14,000 people have arrived by small boat so far this year. That's down 43% compared to the previous year. Labour says joining the pact would cost around £100 million a year. That's a fraction of the £5 billion spent on what Labour calls a failing asylum system. Labour claims over 47,000 crossings have been prevented in 2 years and 70,000 people, with no right to be in the UK, removed.
Parcel delivery firm Evri is creating 10,000 new jobs as demand for parcels grows. The UK courier is expanding its workforce significantly. The move comes as parcel volumes continue to climb. 10,000 new positions will be filled across the country. The jobs span delivery, sorting and support roles. Evri cited growing demand for parcels as the driver behind the expansion. Online shopping continues to fuel parcel growth. The new roles represent a major boost to UK employment in the logistics sector. The expansion underlines the resilience of the parcel and logistics industry despite economic uncertainty.
A study shows artificial intelligence is creating new jobs in more than half of UK companies. Over 50% of UK firms using AI are creating new job roles as a result of the technology. The study challenges the narrative that AI will simply destroy jobs. Instead, it shows companies are developing new positions to manage and work with AI systems. The jobs being created span roles like AI trainers, data specialists, and AI project managers. The findings suggest AI is transforming the workforce rather than eliminating it entirely. However, experts say the transition period will be crucial. Workers in roles displaced by AI will need retraining and support to move into new positions.
Despite technological breakthroughs, Americans are growing more wary of AI as it becomes unavoidable. 52% of Americans say they're more concerned than excited about increased AI use in daily life. In 2021, that was just 37%. A CNBC poll found that when given the names of 9 top AI industry leaders, a majority of 18 to 34-year-olds said they don't trust those people to act responsibly. Over 70% of Americans think AI is advancing too quickly, according to an Economist and YouGov poll. Tech companies are facing a public relations crisis over plans to build AI data centers. They're offering job guarantees, clean water investments, and local perks to sweeten deals. Consumers see AI in narrow terms: chatbots, transformed search experiences and features infiltrating everyday products, whether they wanted them or not. They view it as enabling cheating in schools and training on intellectual property belonging to others.
Google has packed Search and Gemini with new AI-powered study features to compete with OpenAI. Google announced interactive visuals, 3D simulations, a dedicated student hub, customized practice quizzes, and more across Search and Gemini. On Search, students can now generate custom tools and simulations to understand complex topics. Search for pH scale and get an interactive visual. Ask a follow-up about plotting citrus fruits, and AI creates a tailored experience. Users can generate custom practice quizzes on any subject: science, math, humanities, foreign languages. Type create a quiz with SAT vocabulary words, and Search generates an interactive quiz. Lens in Search is rolling out an interactive learning experience. Students can upload a photo of their work, and AI explains the concept, identifies mistakes, and provides guidance. Gemini can now launch multi-step research reports. Users ask it to research a topic, then discuss the findings conversationally. The system works in the background and notifies you when the report is ready.
That's your brief. Every story here comes from a published report, and every source is listed below. Subscribe, and we'll do it all again tomorrow.